Hey, can you guys hear me? Yeah, alright, cool. There's a 30k queue. I mean, it is what it is, man. I'm not that worried about it. Yeah, I'm not stressed. Have you tried mine builds before? Nope. Why would I try a mine build? That sounds boring. Why the fuck would I do that? Patch is 9 gigs? That's usually better than what it usually is, yeah. Start RF again? No. I'm gonna do, so, like, I was thinking about it. I feel like right now in PoE, and, like, just kind of tell me what you guys think, is, like, I think that so much of the game is built around being able to do bosses. And if you can't do bosses, you're gonna have a bad time. So, Righteous Fire is incredible for mapping. It's like the best build for mapping. But it is garbage for bossing. It sucks. I think Spark is better. Spark can League start, and it can also clear Wave 30 Simulacrum. Also, we have a lot of lightning stuff that they're changing with shocks. So I can easily change over to one of the new spells or one of the new effects, and that'll help me even more. You see what I'm saying? Well, Fire Trap 4-link setup with RF. Fire Trap got nerfed. It got nerfed by about 20%, is that right? Yup. Most want to be efficient, make mapping, dedicated builds, farm faster, build up a strong boss killer faster. Yeah. Anything lightning is pretty awesome this league too. Yeah, I think so. And like that's why I want to play Spark. And it can also, like, let's say Arc is like really, really good. Like for whatever reason, like cast on crit Arc is like just fucking OP or something with like the new builds or the new abilities. Then I just swap over and play that instantaneously. Spend the win. Well, like this is like, for example, like this build right here. What's this, Cyclone Slayer or whatever? I don't think it's that good. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Cyclone hit its peak in, Legion. And there hasn't really, like, it's like it's still really, really good. It's just not, I mean, that is really, that's insanely good boss damage. I mean, to be fair, that's ridiculous. Part 3 of 3. All right, let's look at these real quick. So this is probably something of like what I'm gonna do, right? And also, like, you see the survivability with this, right? The survivability is just like insane. You just like never take damage. This guy's guides are unrealistic. I've watched 30 guides of this. It's too slow for me. The thing is, like, You say it's too slow for you, but the builds that you think are fast are going to become slow. You see what I'm saying? That's what I think is going to happen. This dude's arm T-bait. I'm not basing. The person I'm watching is Goratha. I've already got this ready for like my talents and everything. I'm not basing it off of this person at all. I'm just watching the video. That's all. See, it's like, watch, like he can literally just like tank this shit. That's insane. How much will it cost? I don't know. Alright, we already saw this. I never really have played totems before. It's just not really my thing. Build prices and exalts? No, that's not what he said. He said full Atlas completion prices and exalts, which is fair. I think like having 5 exalts to be able to buy your gear, by the time that you're in red maps, you probably have 5 exalts worth of gear. I mean, there are people that hit that by the time they're halfway through yellow maps. And other people obviously get lucky way before then. It'll be divines now. Do we really know that, or is that just an assumption? Because, like, I don't think that's true. Like, I really don't, because, like, a divine orb... It's all about divine orbs? Okay, so here's what I think. I think that a divine orb has much more limited use than a, it has much more limited use than a fucking, what's it called? Than an exalted orb. Like, exalted orbs are used, in my opinion, much more often and have much more utility than a divine orb. So, no one ever slams exalts. I don't. The craft bench now is divines. No, I understand that. Yeah, they changed exalts for divines in the crafting bench, and also they removed the divine recipe whenever you do a turn in a 6-link. No, I understand. I know, like, I know what's going on. I just don't think it's entirely gonna happen. No one slams exalts. I don't really think so, no. I think that it should, I think that you should want to have a game where people want to slam exalts, personally. I think that's interesting. So, like, I think the fact that nobody slams exalts is a bad thing. It already happened in standard. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Divines will be worth 20 to 30x this patch. We'll see what happens. I think getting rid of the crafting recipe is huge. Because like a lot of people, what they would do is they would run maps and then get corrupted 6 links and then just sell them for like the raw value of the divine orb. So like I think that's what really is going to hurt the amount of divine orbs in the economy much more than the crafting bench, because like if you're in the game high enough to craft with like orbs like that, I think that's like top 5% content, right? But like being able to and like it's plus 5% content and like it doesn't have any effect on anybody else. But, like even though like let's say there's like 10 people in a league that are spamming maps you know, with 6 links, just those people alone can change the market. Divine supply has been cut by 90% now. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is like, so yeah, maybe, but like I don't know. I view exalted orbs to be way more valuable. But you're right. I mean, now that we have so many other deterministic crafting options and there's so many other types of exalted orbs, like, you know, Crusader's exalted orb, fucking Awakener's orb, and there's like all this other stuff. It does make me wonder, like, yeah, where's the, like, I don't know. Yeah, Eldritch Exhaust. Yeah, that's I haven't done that yet, so I don't know what that is. You're watching playing World of Warcraft 2003. Summoner's nerfed this league. What build are you gonna play? I didn't play Summoner last league, actually. Yeah. Summoner isn't nerfed. I think the gem level nerf is pretty substantial. Didn't they nerf Necromancer, the +2 Dominion gems? That's pretty big, man. They nerfed more summon items though. I'm trying to remember what else they nerfed. I forgot. That's pretty hard. I mean, the thing is with like, whenever you compare like the gameplay of like zombie necromancer or like carrion golem or something like that, you don't really do anything. And like I think Chris Wilson came out and said he wanted active minion skills to be better than passive ones, and I think that's whenever zombies got nerfed like a year and a half ago. So I don't know. 30% of Fizz is Chaos instead of +2 minions. Yeah, I saw Gazi was doing a Chaos build, I think. Or Chaos or Poison build or something like that. And so, you know, that's probably what he's gonna try. Zombies plus Carrion still goes hard. Yeah, well, I mean, like, it was just like, it was so OP. It's like, you have to nerf it like 5 times for it to not be OP. It was broken. Okay. 42k easy. It'll be fine, man. Alright, I want to watch a couple of videos before this shit starts, okay? Let's see. So we're gonna look at I'm gonna look at this one, and we're gonna look at this one, and let's see, what else do I want to see? See if there's anything unique worth watching. Oh yeah, we'll watch this. Yeah. Actually, I think I'll watch this. Blizzard coming collapse. Dragonflight date leak. If it's a leak, it's gonna be on here, right? They started banning people for erotic content in RP add-ons. I mean, like, yeah, you're welcome for that. And I miss whenever it was just that simple, huh? Holy shit. Okay. Let's see what else I need. This guy got his name suspended. What is his name? KK. Oh, okay. And so probably it was like somebody thought it was like they're not doing KKK and they just do KK and it's like some racist thing. Probably, I don't know. It seems stupid to me. Okay, let's see here. Turn this down a little bit and we're gonna look at this. One more is bad. No, what? It's just what I'm guessing somebody at Blizzard thought. I'm not saying that's what happened. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm saying, like, that's what a, that could be the thought process somebody goes through. I'm not saying it's right. I think it's stupid, but, like, that might be what it was. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Alright, I think we got everything ready here. We're gonna look at a couple of videos before the leagues start. And we're gonna have a little bit of fun, man. There's a good thread about someone defending less expansion. BFA, I mean, BFA had a lot of good ideas. It had a lot of bad ideas, too. Problem is, like, Blizzard stuck to the bad ideas instead of listening to the community. Like, BFA would have been a good expansion if they had just listened to the community and fixed things ahead of time. Like things like corruption, corruption vendors, Azurite armor, essences, stuff like that. Like, if that stuff had just been fixed on release and account-wide on release, it would have been a good expansion. But the BFA was like, BFA is an example of, like, good content that got strangled by bad systems. I don't really think that it was a bad expansion fundamentally. There were a lot of things that I had fun doing in BFA. And also, like, at the end of it with corruptions, like, I had fun playing my character. And I use that as a pretty good, like, is it fun playing your character? And if it's fun playing your character, the game is good. If it's not fun playing your character, the game is bad. It's that simple. The character is like a window in which you see the whole game. And if the window is broken, foggy, messed up, or there's a crack in it, you know, you're not going to see the game as good as it could be. So let's see here. We're going to look at the impending collapse, the coming Blizzard crisis. We'll see about this. Yeah, we will see about this. I'm actually kind of curious to see what this take is. A lot of people are saying, you know, like there are people that are happy with, you know, how Blizzard has changed things around, etc. And then, you know, we see things like this. So we're going to find out. The systems ruin the game, yeah. Well, let's see what he's got to say here. Excuse me.
Countless employees in recent months with a plummeting stock. Blizzard is facing impending disaster. Having to fire countless employees in recent months with a plummeting stock price, the key founders behind the company jumping ship, and Blizzard being listed as one of the most hated gaming companies of all time.
I think that's a big factor. Is like, you know, I was thinking about this. So like there was a post on my Reddit about how I'm schizophrenic because I don't think the Battle Pass in Diablo 4 is bad. And I was thinking to myself, it's like, and there would be people in there that were like basically like repeating things that were just factually untrue about Diablo 4, because I've read all the stuff about it, and I know this is not true, and it's verifiably untrue. And people, even whenever they are confronted with the truth, they just go with the lion's head. It's like, even whenever, it's like, it doesn't matter what's true or what's not true, because people have already made up their mind. They've had enough of their shit, and it doesn't matter what they say or what they're doing. And so it's more important to them to dislike the company reflexively than to listen to what they're doing. And I think that's kind of a bad thing. I mean, it is. Like, that's not a good thing at all to do or to have at all. But at the same time, it's also not really that big of a surprise that people feel that way.
This begs the question, what went so wrong for Blizzard? Blizzard was adored and loved by its fans. Its origin stories were organic, with each of the founders contributing $10,000 to get the ball rolling from grandma's money. It then rocketed to fame and became a highly successful, normal gaming company. With a loyal fan base, record sales, and rocketing innovation, Blizzard was adored by millions around the world. But in the last year or so, Blizzard has now become one of the most despised gaming companies in history. Originally called Silicon Synapse, Blizzard originally focused on porting other studios' games to different platforms. However, they would soon make a few of their own, releasing...
I think one of the big reasons why is because just very simply, a lot of the content that they have out right now isn't very good. Like, if you compare the content offering with, like, Riot, like, Riot has, like, multiple games that are top in their field, right? Like, League is the top MOBA, Valorant's one of the top FPS games. You know, I would say, like, in a lot of ways, Valorant appeals to people more than Counter-Strike does now, which is weird for me to say. And they have other games like, you know, Teamfight Texas. They've got Arcane. It's like a show. And, like, yeah, the thing is, like, with Riot, I think Riot is a very good parallel with Blizzard, because Riot had effectively what happened with Blizzard with, like, the lawsuits and everything. Riot settled a $100 million lawsuit with that. Blizzard only settled it for 22. So Riot's problem, if you look at it proportionally, could even be interpreted as even worse. But people were okay with it because the games were fine. They liked playing the games.
Games like Rock'n'Roll Racing and Blackthorn. And by 1994, Blizzard was quickly growing and was acquired by Davidson and Associates for a little under $7 million. This was the first parent company to purchase Blizzard, kicking off an acquisition cycle that's still ongoing today.
Oh yeah.
Blizzard's subsequent releases weren't smash hits by any means, but they kept the company afloat for the next 3 years. However, this would all soon change once Blizzard released their first hit, Warcraft Orcs and Humans, a game that managed to sell around 300,000 copies before reaching the end of its lifespan. Yet these were rookie numbers for what was coming.
And also, however, like, Warcraft 1, like, you can go back and play Warcraft 2 and it's a good game. You can go back and play Warcraft 1 and it's like, man, they've really come a long way, huh? Warcraft 1 wasn't very good.
Before releasing the games we know them for today, Blizzard was still getting pushed around by various publishers around this time. Eventually, the company ended up being a subsidiary of Vivendi, but they would go on to release Diablo in 1997.
Until 2008.
While initially only hitting modest sales numbers, the glowing reviews of the game eventually led to over 500,000 copies of Diablo being sold, 5 times what Blizzard expected. And this marked the start of Blizzard's golden years. First came Warcraft 2, a great sequel to their first game. Then came hits like StarCraft.
Yeah, I think Warcraft 2 was the beginning. Like, I remember I still have the original, the big box of Warcraft 2 downstairs. I'd go get it, but honestly, I just got up. I don't want to get up or do anything. But I've got the box. I've got pictures of it somewhere, and I think I have the StarCraft box too. Like, that was the beginning of Blizzard's golden age. That was the golden age arc for Blizzard.
Diablo 2 and later Warcraft 3, a release that would forever change the gaming industry, giving rise to the MOBA genre and catalyzing the growth of new games like Dota and League of Legends. Around this time, Blizzard was a godsend for gamers around the world.
I severely underestimated just how good a time it was. I had so much fun going back to this title.
So then, how could it all go so wrong for Blizzard? What caused Blizzard to collapse so dramatically? Well, there's many reasons for it. The first of these was Blizzard's growing apathy towards their fanbase. The signs were slow at first, legal challenges over fan-made projects, and a general sense by customers that they just weren't listening. However, at the time,
I think it's just that the game had problems. Like, it was literally that simple. Like, a lot of the problems that, like, WoW had, and like, this especially happened, like, this wasn't during the Golden Age arc. This was, like, way later on in, like, I'd say Mists of Pandaria and stuff like that. I think Mists of Pandaria was probably where the divergence occurred. And also, I think that there's a little bit of a confirmation bias that, like, people get with subscriber numbers, is that, you know, Blizzard and like Warcraft, like every product has a product life cycle, and I think this is generally the case with pretty much any game, is that the game gets popular and then slowly it starts falling off. That's just what generally happens. And like that happened with Cataclysm, and people perceived it as being the game was bad. And I think that, like, to an extent that's true, and you can really kind of figure out a lot of reasons why that is accurate. But also there are a lot of people that it's the same thing. Like, if a stream has, like, let's say it usually gets 10,000 viewers and it has 3,000 viewers, there's going to be people that come into the chat and they say, like, oh, this stream sucks, that this is a bad game to play, you shouldn't play this game, because there's like a confirmation bias of like a anchoring point of the expectations of the numbers and then where they actually are, and that disparity creates a narrative in the mind of the viewer. And I think that happens with a lot of things. So I don't think that's entirely the case this stream. I mean, like, maybe it's hard to say, but in general, yeah, sure. How much people tend to ignore the fact there's a product life cycle for everything? Yeah, exactly. And like, I think Cataclysm was like that. I think the real frustration began somewhere around 2012. I think the first thing that was really bad was Diablo 3. I think everything before Diablo 3 was pretty much okay. Diablo 3 was the turning point.
All their new games outshined all the controversy. Instead, this was a problem that would come back to bite Blizzard. But for now, Blizzard didn't need to care about this, as they were preparing to release their new game, World of Warcraft. When World of Warcraft finally released in 2004, it blew everyone's expectations out of the water.
Unreal.
Both critics and fans loved the gameplay loop, atmosphere, and sheer scale of exploration that was available.
It's taken this long for the genre's breakthrough hit to finally emerge. But World of Warcraft is indeed that game. This is just an incredible accomplishment and an incredibly fun game above all else.
World of War would gain over 12 million subscribers at its peak and became the most played PC game for 2 years running. And so unsurprisingly, World of Warcraft would end up making Blizzard billions. The game was such a massive phenomena that it allowed the company to spawn their own convention, BlizzCon. And
which is like, it's really kind of crazy to think that the, you know, World of Warcraft was so successful that it caused people from all over the world to fly out and have a convention that was primarily centered around WoW. Like, that, it's really fucking insane to think that. Like, BlizzCon is effectively a trade show for the company, right? This is them advertising their products. And people from all over the world came there and paid money, thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars, to be there at that show. It was insane, man. Whenever you think about that, like, how many companies have that? There's a few companies now that started doing it. I know, like, The Witcher did it recently, and there's, I think, ExileCon. Now we've got that one. We've got Final Fantasy Fan Fest, but BlizzCon was the that was the OG.
On the surface, BlizzCon seemed to be a great advertising event for their products.
Exactly.
BlizzCon was also where they would later broadcast some of their biggest blunders.
I wonder what they're talking about.
Blizzard was making some worrying moves in China. Back then, no one in the public really cared about China. And so because of China's huge market, Blizzard secured a deal with the CCP to release World of War, the condition being that it had to be published by a Chinese studio. And as they gained more and more fans in China, they had more and more incentive to keep the Chinese government happy. Through these actions, this would spell disaster for the company in the future, and would become yet another reason for Blizzard's decline. But
I think that a lot of companies simp for China. I don't really think this is anything unique for Blizzard. I think that what people really got mad about Blizzard at is that Blizzard, it's like you can be a money-sucking company that has no care for the the goodwill or the best interest of people, but don't go around and fucking talk about how much you care about minorities or some other oppressed group whenever you're completely okay propping up a regime that literally puts people in work camps. I think that's what the problem is. It's the disparity between the two messages. It's not even that like the China thing was bad, because all companies do this. Like, look at NBA, and like people say the same thing about like LeBron. LeBron makes political statements about how things are bad in the U.S. People turn around and they say, "Hey, man, like that's fine, right?" Like most people agree with a lot of the shit that he says, especially with like police and shit like that. But like, how the fuck are you gonna say this and then take billions of dollars from China? Like, how are you going to do this? And so that's really what that's what the conversation is about. It's about the the conflicting messages.
China wasn't Blizzard's only partner. Blizzard would also merge with Activision in 2008.
Yep.
And while Blizzard did remain mostly independent, the influence of Activision on the management of Blizzard was noticeable. Lots of people blame this for the greedy corporate decisions that Blizzard would later be known for. But for now, Blizzard would build on their previous successes.
I think that the greedy corporate decisions probably were primarily focused from Activision, but I think that the individual bad decisions made in like World of Warcraft, like for example, like garrisons giving you mythic raid gear for doing phone game missions, like that wasn't decided by Bobby. Bobby didn't decide that you had to farm Maw of Souls 100 times to get your artifact knowledge. He didn't, like, nobody, I would say if you take the entire board of directors of fucking Activision Blizzard during the time of Legion, I think probably one or two of them at the most even knew what artifact power was. I think that you cannot always go and blame the, like the executive leadership. Sometimes it is just the people that were making the game at the time being resistant to listening to feedback. I think that's what one of the big factors is. He did hire those people, though. That could be the case. And you can make that argument. All I'm saying is that it was not just purely a business decision. I think that there are some bad decisions Blizzard did that they did all on their own. And they didn't need any money to do these dumb things. They did this all by themselves.
Releasing sequels and expansions for their popular StarCraft and Warcraft franchises. These were met with great praise, and it seemed like the sun would never set for Blizzard.
Yeah,
until
StarCraft
it did.
2 was huge.
Come 2012, and Blizzard would make the first blunder.
Yep, there it is. Diablo fucking 3.
The last Diablo game had been released way back in 2000, which meant that fans of the series had waited 12 years for the new installment in the franchise. But when Diablo 3 was finally launched, Blizzard had failed to allocate enough resources to their servers. This wouldn't have been a problem if it only affected multiplayer, but Blizzard required the game to have an active internet.
This was a really big deal back then. It's like now everybody's okay with games being always online because there's the understanding that hackers are a problem. It's like, for example, Elden Ring. You can't trade items. Like, it's just like a known thing that you're not supposed to trade items with people because, it could be like a hack or something like that. And I think this is kind of the same thing, but like back then, a lot of people didn't really understand that. So whenever they heard that you couldn't play the game offline, they were furious. It was a big problem.
Connection in order to function. This caused a massive outrage for Blizzard fans, leading to countless posts and videos being posted about the infamous Error 37.
Error 37 was the top trending hashtag on Twitter on the day that Diablo 3 released. Everybody was talking about Error 37. And I remember I got into the game pretty early on. Like, I got in probably like 2 hours, an hour after the game came out. The real problem with Diablo 3 had nothing to do with the servers being down on launch. Nobody really gives a fuck about that. The problem with Diablo 3 was the fact that the game was garbage. It was a garbage game. Like, there was no beta testing at all for any act beyond Act 1. There were things that were just massively imbalanced. Inferno mode was not tested, and they even said they didn't test it. It was garbage. The real money auction house had nothing to do with it. The game was bad. oh, real money auction house mattered? Well, then why was D2JSP doing fine for years where people were buying things for real money there? It had nothing to do with that.
The servers are down, and every time I try to log in, all I get error 37, error 37. I keep trying to log in, and I get error 37.
I used to watch every Boogie video.
The single rain cloud on the horizon wasn't enough to phase Blizzard. It would take a lot more than a botch release to bring the giant down.
Yeah.
After a set of successful expansions for World of Warcraft, the game was at its peak. But when their 4th expansion released, the player base actually began to drop, a trend that will continue throughout World of War's lifespan. On Metacritic, critical reviews were positive with a score of 82 out of 100. However,
people didn't like Mists of Pandaria. Like, I didn't like the theme. I still don't like the theme of Mists of Pandaria. I think it was stupid. It had nothing to do with WoW. Like, it was completely out of left field. Like, Chen Stormstout was like a hidden character that you unlocked after one mission in Warcraft 3. They had nothing to do with the Blizzard, with like the Warcraft lore. They didn't fit in any capacity. It was just fucking stupid. Like, we could have done anything. But we could have gone to Kul Tiras, we could have gone to, like, the Maelstrom, we could have gone to, like, the, what was the thing, like, the Abyssal Depths or something like that. Like, there were so many other really cool things at that point, and we had this bullshit. Like, I never liked the theme of Mists of Pandaria. A lot of people didn't like it either. Yeah, they did it for China. I don't know if, I mean, like, maybe they did, but all I'm saying is that I think it was bad. I didn't like it at all. It was so out of, yeah, it was completely out of place.
The fans were underwhelmed, feeling that the magic of World of War was starting to fade away. This was the first sign.
Yeah, it was not like, you think of people like Illidan, right? Illidan, Arthas, Kil'jaeden. I mean, like, bro, like, this is fucking, like Frazetta style art. And you've got, like, this low fantasy Conan the Barbarian vibe with, like, people like Lothar and, like, Thrall and Sarfang, and it's fucking badass. And then you bring in Kung Fu Panda, and it's, like, this funny cinematic, and they're, oh, we're gonna fight. Like, what the fuck out of here? Like, this has nothing to do with it. Li Shen was fucking badass. But the overall theme was not.
Bad things were coming for the Blizzard company. This decline would become most apparent around spring 2016, when Blizzard showed their first signs of becoming the company we know today. Blizzard would go on to lose a ton of their fanbase after shutting down Nostalrius, a community server that ran an old version of World of Warcraft. Many players were dissatisfied with the current trajectory of the game, so a group...
Well, this was during, so Nostalrius happened during WoD, I'm pretty sure, right? Like, it was somewhere around WoD. Am I right about that? Like 2015, something like that? Yeah. At the end of WoD. Like, at the end of WoD, people were mad about Nostalrius being shut down, for sure. They were 100% mad about it. But I think that Blizzard completely avoided the problem. Like, Blizzard had to shut down Nostalrius. It was a private server that competes with their game. Like, they had to shut it down. Any reasonable person could see that. I think the problem that people had really was, like, most people back then were saying, like, Blizzard, we want to give you money to play this game. Stop making us have to pirate it. That's what a lot of people were saying. They were like, we don't want to play on a private server because there's no permanence of your gear. Like, you can just have your shit deleted. Like, there's no accountability or anything. So, like, everybody wanted classic WoW. Like, I actually don't think this was a bad thing, really, for Blizzard to shut down Nostalrius. And I think that any bad that it caused was immediately fucking outweighed by classic WoW announcement. They didn't compete over the same customers? Of course they did.
Decided to start hosting servers for vanilla and previous World of Warcraft expansions. And Blizzard really wasn't happy about this. They weren't happy that around 800,000 people were playing World of Warcraft on a service that they didn't operate. So the company ended up filing a cease and desist notice to the Nostalrius dev team, leading to their service being permanently shut down on April 10th. By doing this caused massive outrage in their community, and unsurprisingly failed to increase any of World of Warcraft subscriptions.
That's not true, because we don't know if it's true. Because Blizzard stopped announcing their subscriber numbers I think after the, before the shutdown of Nostalrius. You can make an assumption if you look at their quarterly earnings report from the time of, like, you know, increases and everything like that. But fundamentally, we do not know that at all.
Starting around 2016, a pattern of bad decisions would emerge in Blizzard. Sometimes they were greedy, and occasionally they seemed almost oblivious. Initially being a slow process, the company would start putting much more emphasis on making money over listening to their fans. Although there were still some good intentions at the company, the change was definitely noticeable. Blizzard shutting down Nostalrius would be a relatively small controversy compared to what was coming next.
Definitely, very
With the
true.
World of Warcraft cash cow drying up, Blizzard decided to take a risk and branch out by developing a new IP. This would be done by
Overwatch was tremendous whenever it came out. It was a phenomenal game. It was fun to play. Everybody loved Overwatch. The problem was that Blizzard mismanaged the game. Like, that's what I think.
Taking creative liberty from popular hero shooters such as Team Fortress 2,
Absolutely.
and then combining this with RTS elements that the company was already familiar with. At the time, this was an innovative idea, and Blizzard's concept would eventually become known as Overwatch.
Exactly.
Announced in late 2014, the game's cinematic trailer quickly exploded online, and got nearly everyone excited for what Blizzard had
People
in
are
store.
really
but it would
excited.
be another year and a half until Overwatch finally released on May 3rd, 2016. Once released, the game skyrocketed in financial sales, and would quickly begin dominating
People are
the
popping
cultural
off.
sector. On Twitch, Overwatch was a platform where many big streamers began to launch their career, with names like
I was about to say, they weren't going to show him.
XQC gaining a massive following through playing the game.
You fucking go for it, you fucking push it, finish out, or I have to go for it. I get the first time I make for it, and I die for another one. It sucks, dude.
Bro, I remember whenever he got kicked off his team, I watched his stream. Like, this was like fucking 5 years ago. But like some stupid shit happened and he got kicked off his team and like everybody was like getting mad about this and everything, man. It was so fucking crazy.
Overwatch's popularity,
Like, a lot of people, like, XQC used to be only Overwatch, right? And then he started doing other games, I think, like, after he got suspended or something like that. I don't remember, like, what the exact timeline was. And like, a lot of people, like, just only played WoW or only played Overwatch. Like, Moon used to be Moon OW.
allowed the game to easily coast for the first couple of years of its lifespan. But cracks were starting to reveal themselves. Blizzard began rehashing their old holiday events instead of creating new ones like they used to. Controversial features like roll queue were also being added, which limited what hero players could use while further increasing matchmaking times.
I can't really comment on a lot of this because I played Overwatch on release and then I kind of fell off on it, so I don't really know exactly like what the problems with Overwatch were. I just felt that, like, from what my understanding of it was, is that the metas for the game changed in a way that was unfun to play. I think that's just really what happens with these, you know, shooter games, is that sometimes a gun comes out and, like, the gun is, like, I remember in, like, Warzone, for example, like, DMR was, like, just the best gun. It was the best gun. You could fucking 3-tap somebody and it was insane. So I remember, like, I forgot who it was like Swag or like fucking Nick Merckx or somebody, like, they streamed with that gun every day until it got nerfed because they knew how bad it was. And I think that's one of the bad things about Blizzard, is that they don't balance the games proactively enough, and they don't respond to unfun metas being developed quickly enough.
Additionally, Blizzard was diverting many of the resources towards Overwatch's floundering pro scene instead of their core game. All these actions continuously caused strife in the game's community until
Overwatch League was pretty weird.
reaching ahead in spring of 2018. But before we continue, a quick message from the video sponsor Skillshare. Before starting my channel, I had no idea how to create videos. I needed to learn how to use Premiere Pro and After Effects, but didn't know where to start. So I spent months learning how to edit through online courses using Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves learning and wants to explore their creativity and learn new skills. Skillshare is one of the best ways to invest in yourself and your personal growth. For me personally, I learned so much about editing from Daniel Scott's Premiere Pro and After Effects courses, which taught me all the fundamentals of the Adobe suite. By learning all of this stuff from Skillshare, I've been able to build a business.
A lot of these videos are on YouTube and you can get this stuff for free, but some of the values that, like, websites like this really provide is that they aggregate them in a way that's easy for people who don't understand them to get it. Like, because, like, you don't have a very good frame of reference, for example, for like what's a good editing video and what's not because you don't know anything about editing.
Around what I love. So if you're also interested in making a career pivot or up-leveling your skills in your current role, which is why Skillshare is a great resource for freelancers and entrepreneurs to learn new skills to support your growing side hustle like I did with YouTube, or to launch a totally new career.
That's why people
There's
use
just so many
like
classes to choose from, like Finding Fulfillment Using Pivots to Power Your Creative Career by Emma Gannon, and one of my personal favorite courses being YouTube Success, Script, Shoot and Edit with Marcus Brown Lee. And right now, the first 1,000 people who use the link in the description below will get a 1-month free trial with Skillshare. So if you're interested in developing your skills, be sure to sign up to Skillshare today. Blizzard's introduction of Bridget is what many consider to be when Overwatch died. The character was just too overtuned, and her addition created a stale meta for months on end, which many
It's funny for me to hear that because like Bridget in the Overwatch 2 beta, in my opinion, is dog shit. Pretty much like just like the worst tank. Like I don't even. I've like it's easier for me to kill Bridget than it is for me to kill Soldier 76. She's broken, man.
Intolerable, causing a lot of them to quit the game for good.
There's just too much there. AoE healing, armor, the armor buff, reducing damage, stun. You get your own barrier as well. I mean,
and later that year, things wouldn't get much better for Blizzard in terms of their other games either. During BlizzCon 2018, the company revealed what they thought would be a slam dunk, Diablo Immortal, and they could.
I don't think that anybody on that stage had I genuinely do not believe that anybody on that stage thought that Diablo Immortal is what everybody was there to see. I think that they probably got shafted at the last minute. They sent out Wyatt Chang to be the sacrificial lamb, and it's like, you've got to announce this, Matt. He's like, well, I don't want to do it. Like, too bad. Bobby says you got to do it. It's like, okay. And then he goes out and he announces it. Now, I don't feel bad for Wyatt anymore. I did, but you fucking said that shit about Diablo Immortal. Oh, you can't buy gear. Bro, like, what are you talking about? You can't buy, it's all the powers in the gems. Like, you're lying. You're fucking lying. So, like, yeah, I don't feel bad for you anymore that this happened because of what you said. But before that, like, whenever this happened, you kind of feel bad for Wyatt Chang and the guys up there. It's like, ah, fuck. You know, I'm sure that they wanted to announce Diablo 4 also.
Couldn't have been any more wrong. After waiting over half a decade expecting Diablo 4, fans of the franchise were instead hit with the announcement of a Diablo mobile game. The game's presentation was just an absolute train wreck, being booed numerous times throughout.
Yeah.
Is there any plans to make this playable on PC, or is this just straight?
Yeah, I mean, this was a big concern, and to be fair, Blizzard did make it playable on PC. You know, that's it. I mean, Blizzard did make it playable. Wonder how Diablo Immortal's doing now. Here's what I think, is that I think if they announced Diablo 4, and then after the Diablo 4 announcement, they said, hey, we've also got a phone game coming out for Diablo so you guys can play it on the go. I think that everybody would have pogged. I don't think anybody would have given a fuck. The problem was that people got Diablo Immortal instead of Diablo 4.
Strictly mobile forever.
We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC.
Thank God they changed that.
Getting that kind of reception at your own convention really
Which, to be fair to Blizzard, this was stupid for them to say that, but they did go back on this. They did go back on this, and now that you can play the game on PC. So, I mean, again, I think that it is important to give credit where credit is due. After the backlash, yes, after the backlash. It was a bad decision they made, and they changed the bad decision. Good.
One dissatisfied crowd member even managed to access the discussion panel and question the legitimacy of the game.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
I love how this guy, Dontaquire, I think that's his name, whenever Diablo Immortal came out, everybody was waiting to hear what he said. Everybody was waiting to get his take on it. And he tweets out, and he says something to the effect of, I played Diablo Immortal, it lived up to my expectations, I am no longer playing Diablo Immortal.
Now, it's fairly obvious why Blizzard decided to make the next Diablo a mobile game. One, the ease of monetization, and two, the potential for a much bigger audience.
Absolutely.
Compared to the industry standard of PC and consoles, developing for mobile gives publishers much more profits. Just look at Clash of Clans.
Well, it not only is it more profit, it's a larger audience, and I think that larger audience comes from a lot of people, like, for example, in China, many people, like, what's the average commute in China? It's like over an hour, right? Because you use the trains there. So a lot of people play games on their phone, and they play games primarily on their phone. And I think that's the reason, is that also phones are easier for people to get than a gaming PC. And I think that's a big factor, and that's also true in South America as well. And that's why games like Fortnite and Minecraft that are a lot lower like graphics intensive are way more popular, is because they're able to hit those developing countries that don't have the same, you know, like access to quality of life that, like, let's say Sweden has, or America, at least in some places has, right? Or Canada has. And that's why those games pop off so hard. League too. Yeah, think about that. Think about how many popular games are actually so graphically simple. And I think there's a big reason for that. You also use so much more data to feed personalized ads on phones. Well, so here's a little number you guys might not want to hear. Mobile gaming is bigger than PC gaming and console gaming put together. And it is growing.
Pokemon Go, Candy Crush, and any of the other dozens of mobile games, raking in billions through microtransactions. Blizzard attempted to cash in on this market, and it's not really that surprising either, as mobile gaming is the most lucrative out of all the other platforms.
True.
I mean, almost half of all video game revenue comes from the mobile sector, and that's partly due to the sheer number of people who use their phone to play games. Keep in mind that until this point, Diablo had been exclusively sold on PC and console, so Blizzard was essentially blindsiding their consumers with the sudden platform switch, and by developing the game for mobile instead of the relatively smaller established audience, the core Diablo fanbase was left out to dry, and Blizzard further demonstrated their bottom line is money over customer satisfaction, one of the biggest sins any big business can do.
Well, and it's also like you have to also contextualize this around the state of Diablo 3. Diablo 3, like, for example, like, so you can make a comparison, like Path of Exile announced Path of Exile Mobile. You know Path of Exile is coming to mobile, right? Like, they actually announced Path of Exile Mobile. And nobody was mad, even though, you know, PoE 2 wasn't coming out anytime soon, because PoE 1 was good at the time that it came out. If Diablo 3 was being, like, maintained in a way that was fun, and people were continuously coming back and playing new seasons, then it would be fine. But the problem is that it wasn't. So it's like the current game was bad, and we're not getting a new game, and we're getting a mobile game instead. It was like a confluence of bad things.
Later next year in 2019, and Blizzard would go on to tarnish their reputation again. This would happen when they hosted a Hearthstone tournament. During an event interview, one of the pro players named Blitzchung made political statements in support of the ongoing Hong Kong protests. Now, obviously, China wasn't exactly happy about the stunt, and because of Blizzard's tie to the CCP and their dependence on the massive Chinese market, it wouldn't be long before they got their reprisal, as Blizzard has no problem being subservient to the interests of the Chinese government if it gives them more profits. And so
I want to again say that this is nothing that is exclusive to Blizzard. I'm not defending Blizzard in this case, but I think that the reason why people were mad at Blizzard is that all of these things happened and they were contextualized around Blizzard making numerous, constant, and patronizing announcements about how much they care about diversity and different things like that. And it's like, how the fuck are you going to tell me that, like, you care about these kinds of people whenever being one of those people in this place can put you in jail? Like, just stop it. Like, what are you doing? And I think that's why people were really frustrated about it, is that it was a it was a betrayal, kind of. It was two-faced. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, as I said, I don't think that the Hong Kong thing was, I think every controversy that Blizzard has ever had doesn't matter as long as the games are good. You can have somebody like Keemstar.
Keemstar, who has done more bad things than every other content creator on the internet put together and continues to do bad things, but people keep watching because he keeps putting out content and the audience that he has loves the fucking content. And the fact is, that's what really matters. And you can have somebody else who gets canceled for nothing. They get canceled for nothing. It's because they stop making the content that people want to see. That's what it comes down to.
After Blitzchung made the statement, he was immediately banned from all Blizzard-related events and was forced to forfeit all the prize money he earned. The casters that were interviewing Blitzchung also got terminated just for being associated with him. Blizzard's CEO would then go on to justify these actions by stating their platform was, quote, not for political views. But as you would probably expect, Blizzard has no problem ground-standing over socially accepted Western political narratives. These seemingly endless controversies
100%.
were likely part of the reason that Blizzard decided to lay off around 8% of their workforce.
That's actually what happened.
2019.
Remember Caden? That's whenever Caden lost his job at Blizzard too. I was pretty sad to see that. Non-political. Well, I think that if, like, here's what's common sense, right? Is that if at a Blizzard event, somebody came up and they talked about how much they cared about, you know, like gay rights, or how much they were, you know, how much, you know, that BLM mattered to them, you know for a fact that Blizzard would not kick them out of the tournament, ban them from every event, and take away their prize money. You know for a fact that would not happen, even though that's also a political viewpoint. It has nothing to do with it. So that's why I think people are mad, is because, like, everybody knows that's true.
Amounting to around 800 people losing their jobs. Then in July of that year, one of the founders who worked at Blizzard for nearly 30 years stepped down. But there was one ray of hope left for Blizzard. With the Blizzard company collapsing in on itself, there was only one chance left for redemption. In 2020, the company announced that they would be remaking one of their most influential games of all time, Warcraft 3. This was Blizzard's chance to turn everything around. If they nailed a competent Warcraft 3 remake, their past transgressions would have been pardoned by most.
Will be good.
However, this wasn't the case.
No,
Once
it wasn't.
Warcraft 3 was released, it was again a disappointing mess that detracted from the original version just by existing. Several of the game's promised features ended up being cut, like a campaign overhaul and new cutscenes. A lot of the mechanics from the 2000s ended up being cut, like a campaign overhaul and—
I'm gonna be honest, like, these models were fucking garbage. Like, that doesn't look like Arthas or Jaina at all. Like, I never... Like, whenever I thought of, like, what these characters looked like whenever I was a kid, this didn't look like them at all.
New cutscenes.
Like, Arthas as a Lich King looked like a drunk, like a fucking British 65-year-old drunk that just goes from tavern to tavern, you know, trying to get free drinks. Yeah, he looks like a hobo.
A lot of the mechanics from the 2002 version were also removed, such as the player ranking system, tournament mode, and match draw prevention. In fact, Blizzard's Warcraft 3 remake received so much widespread denouncement from fans that it became rated as one of the lowest user-reviewed games on Metacritic.
Until
this fucking thing comes out and none of that is in the game. They actually showed enhanced cutscenes.
Blizzard owns your custom Warcraft 3 Reforged games. Like, I don't think that was that big of a deal. Like, most people don't give a shit about that. Nobody cares about that. Like, it's like, this was clearly like, oh, well, we just don't want to have another League of Legends get away from us, you know? Another Dota get away from us. I get it. But it was just... I mean... It's super important. I mean... For an average player, I don't think that it was super important. I'm sorry, but I don't think that it is. Like, modders care? Yeah, but, like, how many people are modders? Like, it's just, like, the game did not appeal to a widespread audience because it was bad, glitchy, it was not true to form. And it also got delayed beyond whenever they said it wouldn't be delayed for. And it was pushed out in order to bring it out even though they knew it was bad. Shit take? No, it's not a shit take. The fact is that nobody cares about if the modders are making money on the game or not. Do you think somebody's going to buy or not buy the game because of what the monetization model for modders is? How fucking delusional are you? It has nothing, it's not even factored into the equation at all. It's not even a footnote.
and the cutscenes are literally garbage.
Fans didn't just hate the game, they felt lied to. Critics panned the release as yet just another greedy move from a company trying to squeeze as much cash as possible. And things would only continue to get worse for Blizzard. In July of 2021, it was revealed that the company had been under investigation for systemic sexual harassment, bullying.
This was huge, man. This was absolutely huge. It's not monetization of your own idea, make a good game. Warcraft 3 is of the base. I think so too, but no mods equals no mods. That's not really true though, right? Because like, so you can compare that with World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, you don't own your mods either, I'm pretty sure. And to the extent that you do own your mods, you only own them in like an abstract way. And World of Warcraft has plenty of mods. Every game is going to have mods. Like, you can't take your mods with you in WoW. I mean, you need the Warcraft 3 base game to do that with Warcraft 3 mods too. Killed custom maps, almost zero custom game content. I mean, I think that's probably a factor too, but I think that a lot of just the quality of the game at a base level was the issue. I think that if a lot of people were playing the game regularly, that modded content would come back. Because people would find different ways to monetize it, the same as they do with everything. They would do it through Patreon, they would do it through PayPal, and this is what they do with WoW. I mean, like, the thing is, like, I'm not comparing like a theoretical, I'm comparing a one-to-one. This is the way that WoW mods work, and this is the way that Warcraft 3 mods would have worked. That's what happened. They promised cutscenes. Yeah, the game was bad because it's like it did not deliver on giving people the nostalgia fix.
And unequal pay. For 2 years, the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing had been interviewing employees and building a case against Blizzard. As you would probably expect, this caused a lot of people to start grabbing their pitchforks. So when it was finally made public, there was immediate backlash. Blizzard was alleged to have a toxic work culture, with male employees getting drunk and harassing their female co-workers. This accusation was then backed up by a management system in the company that not only tolerated this behavior, but even encouraged it. Blizzard would of course deny the claims, which led to over 2,000...
And again, remember, this is all punctuated by the fact that the games are bad. Right? This is the state of like, Diablo Immortal is the Diablo franchise, StarCraft 2 is dead, Warcraft is in Battle for Azeroth where they tell you how you're playing the game is wrong, and then Overwatch is in a meta where everybody plays like a tank or something, and they have an Overwatch League that's based off of real life cities or something like this. Like, every fucking franchise was at an all-time low.
600 of Blizzard's 9,500 employees signing an open letter demanding change. This was a PR nightmare. While Blizzard did slightly relent in a statement from the CEO, it wasn't nearly enough to heal years of mistreatment. So the employees went on strike, walking out of the Blizzard offices. It was clear that Blizzard wasn't only ignoring fans, but it was ignoring their workers. And this self-induced disaster was made much worse by the media attention it garnered. For many fans, this was the last straw, and the company's reputation has been ruined irreversibly. A Blizzard employee's personal story of their negative experiences at the company blew up on Reddit, gaining over 25,000 upvotes.
When an employee was sexually assaulted at a holiday party, we had to fight tooth and nail with HR to get them to take any action, through which they victimized her and blamed her. Now we've got an employee who's taken her own life, seemingly because of the treatment that she experienced at the hands of her leadership and her coworkers.
This sentiment...
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing is, like, HR is always going to be there to protect the company. That's it. They know what the rules are, they know how they can get sued, and so what they are going to probably do is try to minimize the issue as much as possible so they don't have to do anything, and also so it doesn't hurt the company. That's what it is. HR is never there for the employee, just the company. HR helps a lot of employees, but HR helps a lot of employees when the manager is doing something that is bad for the company.
Was also true for many of Blizzard's shareholders and investors.
They don't help employees or managers, they help the company.
They alleged that Blizzard had broken the trust between themselves and their shareholders, and many of the investors who caused this in the first place pulled their much needed resources from the company. Another report in November further sealed Blizzard's fate. It showed that upper management had known about the problems for years, but chose to ignore them completely, which again caused another walkout and further damaged Blizzard's already tarnished reputation. And then the cherry on top was the investigation results, which couldn't have come at any worse time for the company. company. With Blizzard's continuous failures, corruption, and greed, this was the final nail in their coffin. The company's decline is clearly shown in financial numbers. Their stock price would fall from $100 at the start of 2021 to just $57 following the harassment allegations. This was also unsurprisingly around the time that Blizzard started to make some leadership changes. They even
I think that Blizzard, they've recovered a good amount of the money that they had lost, you know, in their stock price and everything. I mean, obviously they have, because that's why Bobby's still there. They have recovered a bit of it, and the market went down in general overall. So it's not entirely because of this, but again, like one big point of context here is that Blizzard actually lost users for the entirety of COVID. As far as I know, every other major game company and entertainment company did the opposite.
In hiring some outside names, but some of their choices seemed a little odd. For example, they hired Frances Townsend to oversee the company's compliance with government conventions. And oddly enough, Townsend, a Bush administration security advisor, has been widely criticized for her waterboarding advocacy. For a company trying to improve their image, this was quite a strange choice. And while new faces come onto the scene...
Well, Bobby just used her as a puppet. Bobby basically wrote a statement, made her sign her name on it, and then put her out as a fucking, as the witch to burn, and then everybody was mad at her and nobody cared about Bobby. Bobby's behind this, right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the lady was a fall person, exactly. So, like, I'm not, like, yeah, like, maybe she's a piece of shit, like, I don't know, right? But the stuff that she said was Bobby. It was like the fucking Emperor. It was Emperor Palpatine. And she's like Darth Vader. But it's like, yeah, Darth Vader's bad. But like, really, it's the Emperor that's the problem who's telling him what to do. Bobby's the jailer. That's a better example.
All ones would leave. Jeff Kaplan, the heavily involved lead designer of Overwatch 1 and 2, chose to leave after 19 years at Blizzard.
Oh my God.
It was a bad sign that one of the most influential figures in the company...
I think that made a lot of people lose, what's the word for it? Lose confidence with, what do you call it? Why am I drawing a blank? With Overwatch 2. So everybody loved Jeff. Even if they didn't like Overwatch, they loved Jeff.
Was choosing to leave so abruptly. With Blizzard's stock plummeting and the company in collapse, they finally made the decision to sell the company to Microsoft.
Best decision Microsoft has ever made. Like, in my opinion, that is so... It was the smartest thing Microsoft has probably ever done ever since fucking that bullshit where you gotta pay every year to get to use the same program. Like, that shit was smart. Like, you know, like, fucking whoever's running that company, that's some real hood shit. Like, fucking pay that shit every year. But besides that, I think it was really smart for them to buy Blizzard.
The deal hasn't been completed yet, and so who knows what happens next.
Yeah.
Theodore John Kaczynski, better known as the Unabomber, is one of the most interesting people of the 21st century. Both a genius and a madman, Ted engaged in a ruthless campaign of terrorism by mailing bombs throughout the late 70s to mid-90s, while isolating himself from the rest of society in a small cabin in the woods. For 2 decades, Ted evaded capture, despite being the target of the most expensive FBI investigation in history. But for such an extraordinary life, Ted's early years were relatively ordinary, and at the same time, Ted was creating a revolutionary manifesto. He was using all of his intellect to warn society of the dangerous path that is awaiting us.
Now we're gonna get the Unabomber side of the story, man. Yeah. No, he's obviously providing it's an advertisement for his premium content that he has somewhere. By the way, I think that's totally fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, it's totally okay. What a transition. Yeah, that's his content, and you know he wants to. Everybody wants to advertise their own content. Makes sense. Sure. Coming out of nowhere though. It's at the end of the video. Anyway, so I think that Microsoft buying Blizzard is probably the smartest thing that they've ever done. Like I think so. The reason why is that Blizzard effectively just got audited by the biggest governmental entity outside of probably the federal government, right? California government. Massive. Fucking, like, every single bad thing was probably removed from the company. The company was at an all-time low in terms of its value. And then Blizzard does this, and big fucking surprise. you know, Microsoft buys them for cents on the dollar. Like, I mean, not really, but like metaphorically. They had it was the best it was the best thing that they could have done. I was very lucky that they were able to do that. Yeah, it's a free audit. It's the same as like a lot of companies and super rich people will pay accounting firms to audit their books so they don't get audited by the IRS, to make sure that everything's on, it's right. And I think that effectively Microsoft got that for free. Yeah, so there it is. Yeah, they got a free audit. Half they got it on 800% value. They get to massively bolster their own, what do you call it? Their own like catalog of offerings at the games fucking Game Pass. And on top of all that, like Blizzard is slated to release a lot of products soon. Like you're buying an egg right before it hatches. Like you've got Diablo 4 coming out. Diablo 4 is going to sell extremely well. Even if you think it's a bad game or whatever, it's going to sell extremely well. You've got the new WoW expansion coming out. You've got Overwatch 2. You have Diablo Immortal that's doing very well and them getting into phone games. You have Warcraft Arc-Like Rumble, which is like another phone game, makes a ton of money, like very low overhead, very high profit margin, even though it's probably not huge. So yeah, I mean, Wrath of the Lich King, the new survival game, new COD. Yeah, Warzone's coming out in November. Like it's massive that they bought them at this time. Like it's gonna make their stocks go up so much. Like whenever Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, their stock went up by a lot. I don't remember how much, but I remember looking at it and it went up by a pretty good amount. It must be plus 37%. Yeah, there it is. Might be right there. I don't know. But yeah, this was generally regarded as a good decision. Oh, that's Blizzard stock, actually. Blizzard stock is now $80. So much to it? Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I think this was a pretty good video overall. We watched a few of Moon's videos before. I generally like the first one I saw was like I don't know really what I think about this, right? This one I think was pretty fair overall. I mean, I think that we could have looked at a few more of the. There were positive things that happened, like classic WoW, and there were more nuances, but overall, yeah, it definitely, there were just so many controversies, it's crazy whenever you really think about it. It was a lot. 12 minutes till league start. Oh, I know that. I know that all too well, man. I'm ready. I'm prepared. Do you have your loot filter? No. Let's see. Does this show anything bad? Let me see if it shows anything. I don't know if it does. Okay. Give me one. Sorry, guys. I gotta get this started. Okay. Authorizing. And... okay, filter overview. How do I even download a filter? Fuck. It's been, like, I do this so infrequently, I don't remember how to do it. I'm an idiot. What do I do? Presets, loot filter. Fuck. Let me look and see right now. Okay, so what do I do? I linked my account. My account is linked. What do I'm so dumb. Like, I do this like once a year. Press save and export. Okay. Okay. Name. What's this league called? Calandra. Okay, public PC description. Okay, that should be fine. Upload your filter directly to your PoE account. Okay. Okay, it's lit. We got it. We're fine. Yeah, I just forgot, man. As I said, I do it so infrequently, I'll always forget, like, where the button is. It's impressive how much they've horribly fucked up everything they touch. That is impressive whenever you think about it. Yeah, it kind of is. It's a lot. You in Q? Yeah, I'm in Q. I'm 41K. Like, I'm not, you know, like, I'm not gonna be in, like, I don't care. Like, so what if I'm in Q? Like, I'll just log on whenever I can log on, man. I'm not worried about it at all. A con trailer? Sure, I can watch the Akon trailer real quick. Let me go ahead and just swap this over. Are there drops? I think there's drops today. Let me see if I can set up my thing so you guys can get drops. I don't know yet. Let me go ahead and double check. Lake of Kalandra launch. Celebrate the launch. All right, let's connect right here. Just a minute. I don't know what my current password for PoE is. I don't know what any of my passwords are. So I have to get that set up so you guys will be able to get your drops. Let's see. Okay. I hope this is the right one. I don't know why it saved for the other thing, but it didn't save for this one. It's annoying. And let's see if I can log in here. Oh, I'm so dumb. I know why it didn't work. Okay, okay, manage connections, Steam, Twitch, Connect, authorizing Zackrawrr. Path of Exile account is currently linked to your Twitch account. Twitch drops, your account is eligible to participate in Twitch drops. Okay, guys, so you're going to be able to get drops for this. Okay, good. All right. Yeah, I mean, so I know a lot of people might not really be familiar with Path of Exile. Path of Exile is like Tower of Fantasy if there were no anime girls, no boob physics, and no pay to win. You just play the game. I know it sounds crazy, but you will spend time in the game, and through the time that you spend in the game, you will obtain rewards that are proportional to the accomplishments that you accomplish inside of the game. Isn't that nuts? What's the point? Yeah, true. True. What's the point? I need to get my Tower of Fantasy character leveled up a bit more, since I think like they brought out new shit today, but I'm gonna play this. I don't give a shit right now. Thoughts on Andrew Tate being silenced by Facebook? I think that the only bad things that Andrew Tate has really said are things involving women. I think that most of his just average everyday advice is like about how he was like saying that if you want to drink water, you have to drink the whole bottle at once and you can't take sips regularly. Like, I thought that was just fucking, that shit was out of pocket. Like, that was so funny to me that he said that. And he's right. No, he's not. Your mouth gets dry. That's why I drink things regularly. It's so my mouth doesn't get dried out. It doesn't even make sense. But, you know, yeah, big dick hydration. Yeah, you're hydrating, exactly. And he memes half the time. Yeah, I think it's funny. The only thing that I ever thought was problematic with Andrew Tate was just some of what he said about how to interact with women and, you know, the implied removal of a woman's agency in a relationship as a goal. I dislike that a lot, and I think that's really bad messaging, and I'm not a fan of that. The sex trafficking stuff is not proven. I'm not going to condemn somebody on an accusation. I will also say, however, most normal people do not get accused of sexual. They do not get accused of sexual trafficking. You know, like Bernie Sanders has never been, like Mr. Rogers, like The Rock, Ellen DeGeneres, Barack Obama, like Markiplier, like they never get even accused of human trafficking. You know what I mean? Like it never even comes up. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of interesting, but I don't support people getting deplatformed for having bad ideas in general. I think that the way you fight bad ideas is with good ideas. I think that to a certain extent, if you're promoting something that is like directly leading to violence or like bad behavior towards other people or like attacking other people, then I think you can make an argument for that. Has Andrew Tate done that? To be honest, I'm not familiar enough with this content to make that assumption. That's the truth. I'm not, like, I don't know enough about it. You're gonna do Goratha's build? Yeah, I am. Yeah, I got it ready, man. He's an MLM grifter, dude? Yeah, but like, I don't know. Isn't the multiverse an MLM? To an extent. Mark Zuckerberg's posting pictures in it. I'm not gonna condemn somebody for being an MLM, like, yeah, there's a lot of multi-level marketing. Listen, if people can, drop's not working, oh, they'll work, I think they start at 3. I'm not sure, but I think that's what it is. MLM targeting kids. There's a lot of young guys that like Andrew Tate a lot because he's like an older brother or a dad that they don't have. It's kind of sad, really, whenever you think about why he's popular. It sucks. This makes me want to download PoE again? Good, you're smart, man. Yeah, you're very smart, absolutely. There's already some guys gonna be filling that role, to be honest. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. It's fucking loser, MLM Mark, grifter, piece of shit. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not gonna try to condemn the guy. Like, I don't want to say like, oh, this is what's wrong with him or what. Got owned by Hassan. I do think Hassan got him. He did get got by Hassan. It's popular because he either talks about absolute shit or preaches perseverance and working hard. Yeah, that's good. Sure. But I think in general, having people deplatformed from like massive public spaces like Facebook entirely. Like, I believe in personal censorship. Like, I think that if this person doesn't want to watch or listen to what somebody else is saying, I think that they should have the right to be able to say no, get the fuck away from me. But I don't believe in, like, platform-wide censorship, except for, like, in cases where a person is proven to be breaking the law, encouraging other people to break the law, or something similar. Started these hot button personalities getting screen time when they just say dumb shit. Well, yeah, but I mean, like, that's what people like to see. So Trump, well, it depends, right? I mean, they're still doing that January 6th committee and everything like that, and then Trump's probably done other stuff as well, so we'll have to wait and see. I think that if you want to make an argument that, like, I watched a video, like a Noam Chomsky video where he was talking about how all of the war crimes that every single president has committed ever since Eisenhower. Pretty interesting. Yeah, it's moving. Yeah, we're gonna play it soon. Presidents of war criminals? Yeah. So like that's what I'm saying, right? Is like, am I really gonna, am I gonna think like Trump's different in that regard? No, not really. Just another asshole. Who did that video? You just have to look it up. Every president's the same? Not all the same, but I mean, there's like a spectrum. This game of Trio, Diablo PoE, Grim Dawn, Holy Trinity. Oh shit. I think the game has drops. Don't know if you can activate it. Yeah, I did. I'm set up for drops, boys. We got drops enabled. Yeah, it's just not up until the game comes out. It's at 3. It starts at 3, so it should be starting like any minute now. But it might take time for it to kind of kick in. No one cares about war crimes? The truth is, you're right. I mean, like, cause there's some shit that happens, like some country in South America, like you're not. It's hard to tell like a compelling tale of why a person in Wisconsin should care about that. Like, I mean, you're right. Mine just started. Oh, for real? All right, there you go, guys. Move this up a bit. I'll probably turn this shit off in like probably 10 minutes. Your taxes help make it happen. Yeah, but people like taxes. I don't know. Like, I'm not like the point is like I don't even know why we're talking about that. Here's the thing: is that like I do think that social media should have like there should be like some restrictions on them just like shutting people down because it's just like it's such a big space now, and it's like I don't like the people that say like, oh well, that's regulation and government overstepping. It's like I don't think so, man. Like. I feel like a lot of places, like that's what happens with like the phone industry. It's what happened with railroad industry. It's what happened with the internet. It happens all the time, man. Like I think regulation is, in a lot of cases, good. Not all cases. I wouldn't even say most. But I don't think regulation is fundamentally bad. Wrong ideas should not be spread. What happens when so who decides what's a wrong idea? Who says that? You or me? That's the issue. A con raid in 5 days height. I am excited to do that. I've got to get my character geared, man. Like I'm only 1520 item level, bro. Like I'm behind. There's like my friend, she sent me this stone that she cut. I think that she's lying. Like I think it's like photoshopped or something. It was an 890 stone. Like I don't fake, yeah, I think it's bullshit. Yeah, I don't believe it. Yeah, fuck that. What are the stats? I don't remember. What are the odds for 0 negative? It's probably getting a stone like that's probably like somewhere around 1 in like 4,000 or something. I don't know. U.S. government financed architecture many dictatorship in South America. Only South America. There's a bard and Russian server with a 910 stone. I feel like as long as you hit the breakpoint, it doesn't really matter how good your stone is. Like, I have no need to improve my stone because none of my bonuses go over 1. Like, I don't need to. Like, I even have extra red points to spare. It just lets you get cheaper gear? Yeah, it's like, I don't give a fuck. As long as I hit the breakpoint, it's fine.
Anything happen while not sharing Mencho? Yeah, I say this a lot, is like even watching that one video was like a little bit taxing on me, to be honest with you. Like, to be talking like constantly like that. And it just, yeah, it's hard. I gotta take a shit. I'm gonna do that before this. And so I'm getting my teeth fixed. Yeah, I mean, I'll show you guys like everything after it's done. Like, it'll be done next week. Yeah, I'll be right back. Let's see. It's 2.1, 21K. All right, let's go. I'll be right back. Sorry. Oh. Should you wash your hands? Well, yeah, of course. I wipe with them. I mean, what? Of course, absolutely, of course. Shut up.
London Crash, back to 40k. Ah, it sucks, man. Oh, you'll be able to play soon. League's a long time. You miss an hour or two, it is what it is. Just try to enjoy the game. You're gonna get a Tabula Rasa? Bro, I'm gonna get a Tabula off of Hillcock. I'm gonna just kill him. I'm gonna get a Tabula right off of Hillcock, right at the beginning. Watch. Yep. Yeah. In your dreams, bro. Watch this. Onigarashi, first try, level 1. Like I give a fuck about that bullshit. What's your favorite Warhammer army? I've got a Chaos Space Marines army. Jason had a Necron army. Alec had a Dark Eldar army. Eric had a Space Marine army.